Change is normal, but is it a fair question to ask? Is our society changing too fast? If you had a chance to study math in school, you probably studied some trigonometry, some algebra 2. You're like, I don't understand, I need this. And if you're lucky, you study some calculus. And one of the points of calculus is it allows you to calculate how fast something is changing. And one of the things I've noticed being separated from America for a little while is that American culture is changing so fast. Like the rate of change is at warp speed. The social norms are changing so fast. In the morning, I watch my morning doses of YouTube and social media and everything, and I think some of the things I see that are kind of quote unquote normal kind of shock me. So one, I see a lot of TikToks, a lot of relationship videos where I see a lot of girls or women flat out saying men are useless, they don't need men, men suck. Just completely in large swaths of groups of people saying that the other sex just is no good. And you certainly see some of that on the other side. You see men saying, oh, all women are XYZ and so on and so forth. I think another thing I see is I see a lot of guys saying how they won't date single mothers. And I guess my natural response to this is, how many single mothers are there out there? And I don't have my boots on the ground in America, but from what I can see, what it appears to be, there's quite a bit of it. Another thing I see is I see a lot of older women. When I say older women, I mean old enough to be grandmothers, so 50 plus. And I see this kind of cheering on of them being more youthful, acting like teenagers, wearing fewer and fewer clothing, doing more and more risque things. And this is being normalized. And so to see 55-year-old women wearing swimsuits and taking selfies in swimsuits, that is a norm that is relatively new. And I got to get back on the guys. Another one I see for guys, especially when they have these breakup videos and things like this, is I see young boys or I see young men being overly emotional at things like being called names or a girl breaking up with them or being shortchanged at a restaurant like that, and just this overpouring nature of emotionality. And that is, again, as a norm to see large adult men react in a very emotional manner to small, simple things. So I think we're seeing a change in what social norms are. We're seeing acceptance of single parent families now. And not only are we just seeing acceptance, we're also seeing it almost praised. I could go in different directions. I vote in Atlanta in the Georgia elections, or we have candidates who, I don't know, they kind of champion single mothers and have initiatives for single parent or single mother families to get, subsidies and whatever. However you feel about that, I don't know if that's the best thing for the child anyways. So the idea of just normalizing families where there's just one parent, that is something that I would not have believed possible 30 years ago as a kid going to church every Sunday. And so when I talk about how quickly society is changing, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The 15-year-old kid that I was sitting in church 30 years ago, I did not believe that there will be a society where we will be not only normalizing single parent families, but we would be praising it as being brave and strong. From sitting in church pews 2-3 decades ago to seeing normalized single parent families, that is a very fast rate of change. That is literally 2 generations that we have normalized, gone from the stigma of being in a single parent family to now it's praised. We're seeing marriages end quickly, people not getting married before they have kids. Just the idea that marriage is the bedrock of society, something to be celebrated almost. It's almost as if marriage is becoming passe almost in normalized culture. And again, I'm talking about the warp speed of change. Like, if people aren't looking forward to marriage and children, then what are they looking forward to? Are they looking forward to social media and going viral? Are they looking forward to the next person they're going to date and possibly have a child with? Like, those are the two bedrocks of socialized humanity. Find a mate, start a family. And if we're going to kind of throw those social norms out of the window, I'm not sure where we're going. Another thing I've noticed is just there's a code of behavior that was almost kind of, should I say, universally accepted. And there were just certain things you didn't do in public and just certain ways you didn't act. And now it seems like, from what I can tell from some of the crazy stunts I see on TikTok, whatever, or just some of the incredibly, I don't know, long reaches for the desire to get attention through social media, it's, I wouldn't say alarming, it's just, I can't go back 30 years ago and imagine some of the things that I see. So I say all of this to say what? One of the things that I'm worried about, and when I look at American culture versus cultures around the world, is that most of the cultures around the world have a kind of they're kind of fastened to a social norm of doing things. So getting married is one of the rites of passage that happens for the great majority of people. And after that, then you consider having children. And even when you see the younger people come up and they have their different ways and they want to color their hair or they want to do certain things, there's still those socialized bedrock norms of the order of doing things. And one thing I fear is that when we look at American culture, we don't have any of that. And so what happens when you normalize those basic bedrock principles out of normal everyday society? Marriage, two-parent families, acting civil in public. What kind of society are you moving towards? What are we going to be looking at when this group of kids now that are in elementary school during this world virus situation, these 6-7-year-old kids, what is this world going to look like when they're in their 20s? What's going to be normal for them? Will they see marriage as even an option? Will they even consider pairing with someone that's of similar social status and starting a family? Because this is what I can tell you living overseas, is that here, it will be part of the social norm. People will continue to get married. People will continue to have families. People will continue to do things in that order. Single parent families will still be stigmatized in 50 years in this country. So, but if you don't have any social stigmas, if you don't have any points of culture to fasten down your social behavior to, where are you going? Where does society go? And so I think one of the things I see with some of my passport brothers is that they long for those social norms. A man and a woman in the house raising their children. A man goes to work and busts his behind because his pregnant wife needs him to take care of him. And that woman depends on him and she appreciates the fact that he's doing that. And he is grateful for the opportunity to go bust his behind to take care of his children and his family and his wife. those kind of bedrock social norms, what happens when you normalize the need for the average guy out of society? That's something that I worry about when I look at American culture. And I guess that's one reason why I see a lot of guys thinking about getting their passports and getting out of here, or get out of America, because they long for having a place in society where they fit in, where they're not hated because all men suck, where by the time they're ready to get married, they're looking around and a good number of the women they're looking at already have children without being married. And they're looking for a society where they can be celebrated in getting married, and it's not a norm to get married and then be worried about divorce within a decade because of whatever trivial reasons. So I'll say this to my passport brothers. It's natural that you're looking for those things. So when you look around in society and you see people telling you that you suck because you're a man, or if you wanting a marriage is oppression and you wanting to take care of a woman like your grandfather did, is something wrong with that? Sometimes you might need to look around at the society around you and ask the proper questions. Because I can assure you, if you look a little bit around in America at some of the more traditional cultures that have moved to America, they are still doing things the culturally, societal, normalized way of 50 years ago. They're getting married. They're having children inside of wedlock. The woman is raising those children. She might be working, of course. She's helping to raise those children, and the man is running a business, or he's making money so that he can further his lineage and have his children be in a better situation than him. And they're repeating the process, because that is a process that has proven to work. Now the question is, we know the process is going to work, but do we know if the socialized norms that we keep evolving at this light year rapid pace, will that continue to work? I have my doubts about it, but there's one thing we can do is to wait and see. Until next time, guys.